Welcome students to the first section of this module. My name is Kathy Dennell and I'll be facilitating this session. Many of you will be doctors and nurses and have grown up in a curative environment. This is an important session in that it introduces you to primary health care and the basics of public health. Take a few minutes to look at the pictures on the right of your screen. Look at the contents, the people, and their environment. From these pictures, determine what you suspect or what you expect their health needs to be. What are their primary healthcare needs? Post your thoughts on the discussion forum. What is primary healthcare? This slide puts out terms which are often associated with primary healthcare. But I can assure you primary healthcare is not second-class healthcare. It's not simple and it's not cheap. On the left of your screen, you will see primary health care, or not primary health care, but rather primary care, primary medical care, curative care, and first contact care. Often these terms are used to describe primary health care. They are in fact only a part of primary health care, as they are all related to primary medical care. A paradigm. Is primary healthcare paradigm? A paradigm is a system of beliefs, ideas based on values. It's a way of thinking about the real world. In fact, here, primary healthcare is about thinking of the real world of health. It takes health beyond curative medical care to a broader look at the attainment of health for all. It's a new approach to healthcare. Why the need for primary health care? Where did this need come from? Post-World War II, there was a rapid development in modern medicine. Medicines such as antibiotics and medical technologies and surgical procedures advanced. The 1970s saw the first heart transplant. All of this high-cost technology-centered care was based in hospitals. It was physician-centered and curative-focused. Little was given to preventing disease and the other components that make up health. What is health? It is more than just the absence of disease. There have been many definitions over the years, but none as succinct as that of the definition found in the WHO Constitution of 1946. Health is a state of complete physical, social, and mental well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. Where and when did the move to primary health care start? Historically, it is said to have occurred in our own country, South Africa. It occurred in South Africa in the 1940s and the project ended around 1950 for political reasons. It was started by Drs. Sydney and Emily Kalk, who introduced community-oriented primary healthcare in KZN, in Natal, mainly in the eKhopo area. There were about 9 projects, and the areas chosen were assessed. Community involvement was encouraged. They then looked at the needs and looked at what primary care was needed to target interventions. It was community focused and relied on ongoing surveillance to assess and to reassess and to identify changing needs. Unfortunately, the Phulela model came to an end in 1948 with the new government under the Nationalist Party. The Kalks were looked on as activists and eventually left the country to go and work in Israel, where they became very well-known global academics. Community-oriented primary care has a lot of components of primary health care program that was introduced by WHO in the 70s. It is enjoying a new revival, especially in family medicine, at your own Pretoria University. It is also the community health approach used in the British National Health System, known as the NHS. It is also central to the planned South Africa NHI strategy, where it will be applied to the South African situation. There was an international conference on primary health care held in 1978. It was sponsored by the World Health Organization and the United Nations Children's Fund. There were 134 nations present, and the PH philosophy was introduced at the conference, which under the catchphrase of Health for All by the year 2000. The Declaration of Alma-Ata was the conference declaration. It is a concise document. It sets out the principles and components of primary health care to be universally established at that time. The 5 principles that underlie the definition are equitable distribution, community participation, focus on prevention, appropriate technology, and multi-sectoral approach. On the slide, you'll see the comprehensive definition of primary health care that was produced at the conference at Alma-Ata. Primary health care is essential care based on practical, scientifically sound, and sociably acceptable methods and technologies, made universally accessible to individuals and families in the community through their full participation and at the cost the community and the country can afford to maintain at every single stage of their development. It relies and calls upon the spirit of self-reliance and self-determination. It forms an integral part of both the country's health system, of which it is the central function and the main focus, and the overall social and economic development of the community. It is quite a mouthful, but it covers all aspects of primary health care.